Hey friends, this is Jen. We are on for some Mellow Out Sunday. It's so weird to be doing this 5:30 p.m. class and have it look like it's daytime, afternoon-y, fun, summery time sunshine. We are so lucky today. Of course, I do not blame you if you're joining me in a later live YouTube situation. I would definitely be doing that too. Hey, Molly. Anyway, we will go ahead and get started. I hope you did have the chance to go see some sunshine today. I know some of you work on Sundays too, but hopefully just a peek of it, a snip of it, it is good. I am debuting. I'm trying to experiment with different looks, which you know me, I'm a little fickle. But I'm gonna go for that oversized denim look. So here it is. I've been trying it on for size for a couple weeks now and ready for its debut. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started just with this left leg crossed in front of right. And we'll keep it super chill, I think, especially with the change of the seasons. While it is so great and so wonderful, as we know here in Chicago, there is a lot of that up and down still. So it's not this gradual transition towards sunny times. It's kind of this up and down. We're kind of in a kind of transition period still. So I'm sure our bodies are feeling a little bit maybe out of whack as well. So we'll definitely take care of ourselves here and take it nice and easy. All right, so left leg crossed in front of right. We'll keep our arms just resting either on your lap or on either side. Whatever feels more comfortable for you is perfect. And take a moment here just to close down your eyes. Settle yourself into your space. And start to make your breathing more deliberate as you breathe deep on your inhale. Feel taller. Fill up your lungs. And on your exhale, stay tall. Allow your face to gently soften. Drop your shoulders down away from your ears. Do that again. Full deep inhale. And long, slow exhale. Tuck your chin gently in toward your chest. And we'll spend just one more breath here with our chin tucked. Full deep inhale. Lengthen still. Exhale, maybe your chin drops a bit heavier down toward your chest. Yeah. Your next inhale, let your head roll over your left shoulder. And think as if your eyes were open, your eyes would start to look back toward the back of the room as you let your head fall back. Right. And gently let your head roll over to your right shoulder, especially if you haven't done this in a long time. Take some time here. Eventually tuck your chin back down toward your chest. Especially as we go for our second round. If that first round was a little bit tight, tricky, on your second round as you let your chin roll over, your head roll over your left shoulder, maybe you can spin your narrative into you've done this before, it's just maybe been a while, but you have access. Take your time. And let yourself feel more comfortable even approaching letting your head drop back. Let your head roll over to your right shoulder eventually. Yep. Return your chin back down toward your chest. Again, we'll pause for a brief moment here. Full deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. So nice. Your next inhale, roll your head over your right shoulder. All right, simply going the other direction. Again, keep your mind strong, positive, going in a very positive direction, letting your head roll back. So any tension or barriers that you might create for yourself in your mind, start to gently let those fall away as your head drops over toward your left shoulder. Chin down toward your chest. We're on to our second round again. Especially if that first round was tight, uncomfortable, you have the second opportunity. We always have the second opportunity as you let your head roll over your right shoulder to approach it with a place of, I can, and let your head gently roll back toward the back of your space without fear, moving slowly, moving mindfully. Allow your head to roll over your left shoulder. And chin eventually down toward your chest. Good. And then from here, lift your chin up into neutral. Good. Spend another breath here, getting a little taller. Expand, fill up your lungs. And on your exhale, drop your head over your left shoulder, still your face facing the front. Feel the stretch build down the right side of your neck. Good, come back through center. And let your head drop over your right shoulder. Feel the stretch build along the left side of your neck. Return back to center. One more time, let your head gently fall over your left shoulder. Nice. Come back through center and let your head rock over to your right shoulder. Good. Come back through center. Good. Keep your eyes closed. Gently lean back. Switch out your legs. Right leg crossed in front of your right. And then as if somebody's called you over your right shoulder, start to turn your chin to go beyond your right shoulder. Still your chin in that, moving in that lateral frame. And then come back through center. Somebody's called your name over your left shoulder. Let your chin gently, gently make its way past your left shoulder, as if you're looking back past your left shoulder. Come back through center. One more time each side. Head over your right shoulder. Good. Head over your left shoulder. Good. From here, come back through center. Take a full deep breath in through your nose. Fill up your lungs. Exhale it out. Good. We move into some bigger movements here. Open your eyes. On your next inhale, push your hands against your legs. Open your chest. Draw your shoulders back. Squeeze your blades. Exhale. Go roll round. Shoulders come forward. Let your chest cave. Again, inhale. Go push your hands against your legs. Open your chest. Draw your shoulders back. Exhale. Go round. Good. We'll take into circles here, so let your chest come forward, out to your left, and then roll it back. Good. Head, chest to your center, and to the left, round, roll it back. Twice more, chest through center, to your left, hollow your chest. One more time, chest through center. Big, big circles, hollow. Good. Let's move in the other direction. So once your chest comes forward, go out to the right, and then hollow. Very nice. Again, go chest comes forward. Use your hands to help direct you as you need. Twice more. Go chest comes forward, out to your right, hollow. Good. Last time, chest comes forward, out to your right, and hollow left. Good. Chest comes forward, and then just hollow it. Good. One more time, chest goes forward, nice, and hollow it. Nice. We're gonna hang out here in the hollow for just a little bit longer. As you let yourself kind of lean back, it's your hands holding your legs that helps you prevents you from toppling over entirely. Hang out here for just a brief moment. Good. One more breath in through your nose. Exhale, so you can get a little heavier. Separate out through your blades. Let your shoulders roll forward. Nice. Come up through center. Inhale. Nice, tall. And then stay really tall here. Just your left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Inhale, right hand behind you. Go lift yourself up taller. Give yourself a twist. Go push your hand against your thigh. Twist a little bit deeper. One more time. Inhale, go lengthen up tall. Feel the sides of your body lengthen, your spine get longer, and then stay tall as you twist. Beautiful. Good, let's untwist. Switch out our sides. Right hand to the outside of your left thigh. Left hand close with your base. Inhale, lift. Good, and then on your exhale, stay tall as you twist. Push your right hand against your left thigh. Do that one more time. Inhale, get taller. Feel that decompression in your low back here. And exhale, go twist and twist and twist. Beautiful. Let's gently untwist. Keep your left leg bent. Let's send this right leg out to the right. Flex your foot and start to just gently hinge forward. So I'm gonna scoot back just a hair, but all we're doing is gently hinging forward. My left foot's not touching my right thigh. You can totally touch it if you'd like. I'm just gonna start to walk right? As you walk your hands forward, maintain the length in your spine. It might be the case that your hands are on the floor like this, or maybe you are able to hinge deeper such that your elbows, forearms can touch the floor. Continue to flex out through your right foot. And the moment you feel like your spine is starting to round more than you'd like, feel free to take your inhales to lengthen, and then exhale, maybe you crawl your hands out a little bit farther. See if you can also use your hands to kind of push your bottom back, and then we'll do that one more time. Inhale, open your chest, lengthen, and exhale, fold a little bit deeper. Now listen, we're gonna hang out here for a little bit longer. I've still got my flexed out foot, and then maybe if you keep that flexed out foot, you can feel your right inner thigh get a nice little stretch here. So continue to flex as best you can, but since we are hanging out for a little bit longer, if you're like at any point in time, this whole flexing of my foot business is too much work, allow it to soften, right? You still have a little bit of that inner thigh stretch, no big deal. See also if you can manage maybe to let your upper body go heavier. I now feel sort of like my, just above my belly region, like in between my chest and my belly, kind of that area, hitting my heel. And then if you can afford to do so, maybe even letting your elbows slide out a little bit farther. Continue to relax your shoulders away from your ears. And as best as you can, we're making this fairly restful, right? So you can go fist over fist and let your side of your head rest, or just the forehead straight on. Or if this is too high and you want to go even lower, you might go palm over palm, whatever it is, right? And that might be your forehead on the floor. You might choose to get your, I'm going to look over to my left side, and this maybe gives you kind of reinforcement in your neck stretch, maybe. And sometimes with reinforcement, it doesn't need to be like the deepest thing ever. It's just reminding your body, right? Spending a little bit more time in maybe some spaces that feel tight. And that time spent, whether it's like super aggressively, like, my head is like all the way tilted over, or it's just kind of mildly in that direction, I still think that it adds up, meaning your body starts to become more familiar with that space. And each time you approach it, maybe you're going for like that deeper version. The next time you go into, your body's still a little bit more receptive just due to familiarity. So whatever it is, remember, you don't have to look over to one side. Maybe you're going head on. Especially if you're going head on though, make sure you are truly allowing yourself to rest. You're truly allowing your head to relax. You're not holding your head up via your neck. It's so funny, like earlier I was sitting in the car reading a book, and I was sort of trying to sit more upright, and my head was lifted off of the headboard, or whatever that thing is called, the little cushiony thing for your head. And I was like, why am I doing this? But it was kind of more accessible for me to read, but I know that I was putting a lot of strain on my neck just by keeping my head up in that fashion. So these little situations you find yourself in, you might be building, unknowingly or knowingly building some stress or tension or activity in your neck that you actually want to start to soften and start to relax. We'll go for just a little bit longer, especially if your right foot is flexed. Check that your right toes are facing upward toward the ceiling. And see if now that we've spent a little bit of time here, if you're actually able to feel some stretch, some decompression in your lower back. Some of you might have heard that like lately my lower back, which I would never ever randomly say that, my lower back has been feeling a little bit funny for me, and this feels really good. Like I'm able to give it some rest. It doesn't have to work so hard, all those wonderful things. Let's just take one more breath here, in through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. See if you can get a little heavier, maybe a little bit longer through your front body. Okay, so we're going to stay low, whatever that means for you. I'm going to come up a little bit, but still kind of hinging pretty low. But I'm going to lift my head up off of my hands and use your elbows or your hands to start to walk yourself over to your left hand side. So I'm not doing much change in my right leg. Maybe your right foot is softened. That's totally fine. I'm just going to start to crawl myself over. And as you do, as you face your left leg, this is kind of like a extremely mild version of pigeon. So we're going here first. This is just a transition kind of step. Take note if your spine is rounding at the moment. Give yourself just a little bit of a lift. Inhale, lengthen. To exhale, then place yourself again heavy over your left leg, right? Very, very mild pigeon. Our leg is not even remotely back behind us. It's out toward this side. So this should feel, kind of comfortable. And we'll hang out here for just a little bit longer, not too long. If in pigeon you feel like you always need to support yourself with your elbows and forearms, which is completely valid, in this milder version, right, we no longer have our legs straight back behind us. Just see, right? Maybe it's not the case, but maybe it is the case that you're able to let your elbows separate a little bit wider, which then in turn lets you fall heavier down toward your leg. And you do not need to look up at the screen, right? Because I found that the moment I kept on looking up at the screen, my neck was compromised, right? Again, I had that pinch in my neck. So I want to go for a nice long spine, and that includes my neck, so I don't have to work quite so hard. We'll just take a couple of breaths here. So not super, super long, just giving ourselves some time to feel maybe some more depth in our pigeon than what we've experienced before. Okay. Your next inhale will continue in our journey left. So I'm going to start to walk my hands over to this left-hand side and see, I'm going to start to scoot over a little bit so I don't come off screen, but see if you might be able to, where you're square, maybe you can get your right elbow outside of this left thigh. And then maybe you're staying right here. Check in with your spine. With this support of my elbows, I'm able to kind of lift up a little bit more, and my spine feels pretty, long and good to me. I'm gonna see if I can fold a little bit deeper though. But because we're starting to get into a twist situation, I want to definitely make sure I'm not rounding, I'm not collapsed through my front body. And as we know, just taking an inhale, kind of coming out of it is such a great way to pull your belly in tight, keep all of that length, and then twist a little bit deeper as you reposition yourself, maybe your hands, maybe your elbows down. And this is kind of a deeper twist. I think personally that it feels really, really good, but you might think not so much, right? In which case you just come up onto your hands. You have a lot of opportunity to kind of play around with your depth, and that means hands, your elbows, whatever it is. If you're still feeling like this is a place that makes sense and feels good, all these wonderful things, you might want to take your twist a little bit deeper, right? This is completely optional. You know your body best. I'm going to take my left hand and replace my left elbow and then push, right? Simply pushing my left palm into the floor. I'm increasing my twist. Open your chest toward your left and see if you might look past your left shoulder. This to me feels so good. But again, body to body, it's so different. So you want to feel it out. If it is too much, absolutely just back off of it. And I've since, with my right foot, let it kind of go slack a little bit so it can go natural as I allow my spine to twist a little bit deeper. All right. So as you move into these different positions, oftentimes there are a couple of benefits you can, gather out of them. And this one, of course, we have our twist, and we previously had our inner thigh. And sometimes you have to make a decision, like, what do I want to prioritize? And in my case, at least, I'd love to work on that spine twist. Let's take just one more breath here. Inhale, lengthen as we do. And exhale, let's twist a little bit. Push into your palm deeper. Good, good, good. Okay, let's return this left forearm back down to the floor. And we'll give ourselves a quick rest. So come up onto your hands And it's as if we've leaned over to our left-hand side from a kneeling position. Simply push into your hands, shift forward a little bit, and let's take ourselves into a kneeling position. So nice and easy, kneeling position, no big deal. Open up your knees, your feet a little bit wider. And we'll take an inhale, simply come up onto your knees, arms go up, go lift, no big deal, no big deal. Exhale, sit ourselves back down. Just a nice little reset. Inhale, go lengthen, arms go up, come up onto your knees. Exhale, push it back down. This time, inhale, arms go all the way up. Gently let your right hand drop down toward your right thigh, lean back, left arm lifts. Good. Inhale, arms go all the way up. Sit yourself back down. Last time, inhale up onto your knees, arms go up, and then let this left hand drop down toward your left thigh. Reach your right arm up, just a little bit of a hip flexor stretch. Inhale, arms go all the way up, and then push it out, right, left, lower, down. Squeeze your knees together, your feet together, and we'll set up for kind of a transition into rabbit, but not moving fully into rabbit. So from this place, reach for almost your heels area. Right now it feels a little bit funny, but as you start to tuck your chin in toward your chest, start to round through your spine. I'm not exactly holding my heels right now. I'm almost just touching the tops of my feet. Tuck your chin in, the soles of my feet, I should say. Round, round, round. And instead of looking at your knees, keep your chin tucked and look toward your belly button. And then as you start to fold a little bit deeper, you'll find that it's more accessible to grab onto your heels, which you don't have to. You can still stay closer to the arches of your feet. And then just when your head might touch the floor, start to slowly, slowly roll yourself out of it. Chin is the last to come up. And then you're back into your upright position. So let's do that again, especially if you've been feeling any not so good feelings in your low back region. I think this transition into rabbit, not fully into rabbit, but that transition as you're going into rabbit feels super, super good. So again, tuck your chin in. Rather than looking at your knees, you're looking at your belly. And then find a really, really rounded position. As you continue to round, pull your navel in tight so much that you might even find a cramping sensation. You have that round in your neck, continuing through your upper back, mid back. Maybe you even experience it in your low back. And then just when your head's about to touch the floor, you slowly roll yourself back up, not getting your shoulders involved. Just finding a super deep round in your spine. Your chin, remember, is the last to lift up. And I don't know why, for me right now, that cramping sensation, it's so real. I don't always find it, but woo, I feel it. One more round. This time we'll go all the way down, but once we are in that position where we're just about to move into rabbit, we'll stay in embryo. So tuck your chin in, and I'll definitely walk you through that, so not to worry. Still that same transition, tuck your chin in, your shoulders not involved. Just allow your neck to round, your up back to round, your mid back to round, your low back to round, as if your forehead is going to your knees. And then once you're just about to hit your knees, let your chin leave your chest and let your forehead just gently make its way to the floor. Allow your arms to fall slack. So now your arms are literally just on either side of your body, completely hanging loose. Let your shoulders just completely relax as well. So there's nothing sort of tensiony, no energy hiking up your shoulders, but not energy also forcing them down anywhere either. So they're kind of naturally just hanging out on either side. If this feels good to you, you can kind of rock your forehead right and left. This doesn't always feel good for me, but every once in a while, I think it might help. And I've heard from other people that it feels good kind of just to massage your forehead. And
And if you've tried that out and you don't like it, find yourself just in stillness and allow your spine just to rest, to relax. I kind of like embryo. I don't always take it, but it's such a great restful posture. All right. Child's pose can oftentimes feel just as active as downward facing dog or anything else. But embryo really, we give ourselves the opportunity to completely relax, to soften. Enjoy your breath. Here, even on your full inhales, feel your sides of your body just expand. So in this case, since we're compressed downward, you feel your backside body expand. And exhale it out. One more time. Full deep inhale. And long, slow exhale, deflate. Good. On your next inhale, slowly roll yourself up. So you can absolutely place your hands on either side to help you roll up, or you can keep your hands where we had it earlier in rabbit. Relax your shoulders now. Keep your chin tucked toward your chest. Slowly allow yourself to roll back up into an upright position. Chin is the last to come up. Beautiful. All right, let's move into our other side. Let your hips just drop over to your right. And we'll start with a flexed out position with our left foot as we extend our left leg long. You decide like what this whole situation looks like for you. My right sole of foot is not touching my left thigh. I'm just going to keep it like this, and this works for me. You can totally experiment with what works better for you. All right, from this place, stay nice and tall. If you prefer to start with your hands back behind you, this gives you some support, some leverage. Do that for yourself. That's awesome. And then maintain the length in your spine as you start to hinge. Right? If you feel like you can hinge to that about 45-degree angle without any help of your hands, start to bring your hands forward. And it might be the case that you stop right here, your hands supporting you. Or you might crawl a little bit farther, especially if you're just kind of toeing the edge, finding your challenging place. Absolutely go a little bit deeper and then pause. Give yourself some time to breathe, to enjoy maybe what feels like a deeper stretch, whether it's in your right side hip or this left side inner thigh. Take some time. And then after a couple of breaths, if you're like, oh yeah, I could definitely go a little bit deeper, do it, totally. Walk your hands forward. You might start to drop your elbows, forearms down toward the floor. And it's not necessarily the case that it's like a visual kind of flat back type thing. If you at any point in time feel like your front side body is like more compressed than you like, or if you feel like your backside body is more rounded than you'd like, right? The feeling is just somehow off to you. Take your inhale halfway lifts. I love these, whether you're sitting or standing, and then fold a little bit deeper for yourself. And I'm going to do it one more time. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold a little bit deeper. You can decide at this point in time, we spent a little bit of time here already. If you want to keep your left foot flexed, I'm going to keep it up a little bit longer with my toes facing up toward the ceiling. Remember, this is always a personal choice though, right? So you decide what works a little bit better for you. If you're kind of hinged quite deeply, to rest our head, right? Of course, I'm in this spot where I'm keeping my head lifted. Do the fist over fist. See if that works. You can do forehead to the floor. Or forehead to your fist, I'm sorry. Or if you're looking left, do the looking over right situation. So that might feel really nice to you. If that's still too lifted and you want a little bit deeper, go hand over hand. And again, your forehead can be on the floor, but if you took the looking over left option, you want to just take a look over your right so we even it out. And you might be in this place thinking, gosh, this really isn't a very deep neck stretch. And you'd be right. We're just looking for some time spent here. So even if it's fairly mild, hopefully just with a little bit of time spent, our bodies remember, right? So that it's kind of not fighting it when we do move into kind of deeper neck stretches. I find that especially as we spend time in these forward folds, one, I feel so much relief in my low back, but two, I start to feel like, oh, maybe my front body can afford to go a little bit deeper. And if that's the case for you, not to say that we need to constantly be adjusting, but if that's the case for you, remember, always feel free to take your halfway lifts, right? And it seems weird, but you're almost taking that inhale to get yourself out of the situation a little bit, to create some length through your front body, right? So you're lifting yourself out of your depth. And then once you've found that position you like, right, a little bit more length in your spine, a little bit more openness through your front body, you're able to position yourself longer, your chest longer, maybe your more surface area of your front body over your leg. And then just take some time to relax. Your eyes might be open or closed. Your left foot might be flexed, or at this point in time, you might have chosen to relax it. Either way is perfect. Take the time to breathe, especially if there are spaces that you notice have some tightness or a little bit discomfort. You want to use your breath to help gently soften. To gently allow your body to melt into that place with a bit more ease. We're here for just a couple more breaths. See if you can let your head go heavier. See if you can let your body lose any residual tension, tightness, whether it's in your shoulders, your hips, even an unexpected place, your hands, your forearms, whatever it is. One more breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. So good. All right, your next inhale, if you've come down all the way into a folded position, come up a little bit. Remember, we're going to start our journey out to the right. Take your time though. We're starting into this like sort of very, very mild pigeon situation. So I'm going to lift up just so that I'm not completely collapsed. And I'm going to scoot over so I don't come out of screen. So once I come up, I have just the ability to maintain a little bit more length, or actually create more length, I should say. And then start to face your right leg. So this might feel like a very, very mild version of pigeon. And sometimes we need that mild version of pigeon, especially if we feel like pigeon, while it feels good, also feels like difficult to sustain, right? Which is definitely a thing, right? Sometimes a stretch can feel good, but after a while you're like, oof, the benefit of the stretch versus the difficulty or the I wouldn't say pain, but the discomfort in hanging onto that stretch. Like you're kind of balancing that out. And you're like, ooh, I don't know which one's better. So hopefully this mild version where you're facing your right leg head on. And remember, with this, we're starting to get into twisty situations. So at any point in time, if you start to feel rounded, really give yourself that permission to take those halfway lifts and come out of it. It does a tremendous amount of like service to us when we take this, what seems like a step back, right, to come out of a posture, but it really helps us actually add depth to it. Not to say, again, that depth is everything, but if it feels like you've come to a halt, you cannot go deeper, it is a great way to come out of it, to then reposition and then fall into it in a better fashion, in a more aligned fashion, in a more accessible fashion. So here, see, especially if you're, more often than not on your elbows and forearms, if you're able to, in this milder version, allow your elbows to separate, and in turn, you feel the weight of your upper body heavier over your leg, which might take some getting used to too. So definitely take some time for yourself. We won't be here for super, super long. But see always if you can manage to just test your edge, even if it's a little bit, just to understand where your body is, right? So it's not even to say that you have to spend a bunch of time in it, but just to kind of assess where you are relative to where you were the last time, or whenever, whatever mark you want to use. Okay, so your next inhale, start to lift yourself up a little bit, and then we'll continue this journey out to the right. So I'm gonna walk my hands out. I'm probably gonna come out a little bit more out of it, and start to slide your left arm elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Now maybe you stay up here. This already offers me a huge twist, which for me in my low back situation, oh my gosh, makes me feel so old. This feels really good already. And that again is just another sort of reasoning, I guess, where you don't need to have like a ton of depth to experience a ton of benefit, depending on what you're looking to do. And it's always helpful. I mean, I hate to say it, but in the last week or two, when my low back has been feeling kind of funny, in some ways, like the silver lining is that like I've had sort of a goal or a purpose or a focus. So I've been intentionally working on, I don't want to use the word fix, but kind of making that low back situation feel better, right? And so in some ways, because I have like this very specific goal in mind, I've been able to kind of work on these exercises that also have a very specific goal in mind, in addition to all the other things, right? So that's kind of nice with when you have like in a very intentional, specific goal. In some ways, you can really identify it and create an action plan, I guess, to work on it and hopefully make it a little bit less painful or feel a little bit better, however you want to view it. But if this twist feels good and you want to go a little bit deeper, continue to find this left arm outside of your right thigh as you gently lower yourself down. And whether you have low back, kind of situations or not, I really love these twists because even in twists, we can highlight asymmetries in our bodies, right? With something as seemingly benign as a twist. So take some time here. This might feel like this twist that we've done previously, which is that whole knee up and then you turn over and you press your palm and then you twist like that. It's like same, but different for sure. Spend a couple moments here. On your inhales, you lengthen. On your exhale, you stay. And for me, this is a pretty big twist. If you're like, I can do more in this twist. Replace your right elbow with your right palm. And remember, it's easy to dump. You want to lengthen, open your chest, hug your right arm elbow in, and push into your palm as you twist, look past your right shoulder. Oh gosh. And then stay with this. Remember, this is yours to play around with in terms of how much you want to put into it, which again does not have to be your maximum effort every single time, right? Especially depending on what you need, you adjust the amount of pressure you put into your palm. But just ride that edge of what feels appropriate for you and your body as you move into this deeper twist. Stay for a little bit longer. 2 breaths. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, push into your palm as much as you let go, twist. I've since let my left foot relax on me, no longer facing my left toes up. 1 more breath. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist. And twist. And twist. Very good. Let's untwist. So replace this hand with your elbow. And then gently replace elbows with hands. Ooh. And this is just as if we've leaned over from a kneeling position. We'll go ahead and actually come all the way down to the floor. So return your right arm elbow to the floor and then just carefully lie down on your back. Okay, so
from this place, we've done a lot of twisting. It feels kind of nice maybe to neutralize. We'll do a couple of things from here. Your hands can either be close to your bottom or arms out more in the T shape. And then press your low back to the floor. So all we're doing is these little tucks of our pelvis. Right, so your feet flat. You have that natural arch in your spine. All we're doing is taking the time to take your pelvis, tuck your tail in so you close off the space between your low back and the floor, and then gently release. I'm going to remove my hand so you can see it a little bit better, hopefully. And then tuck your tail and close your low back to the floor. You can't really see it with my oversized denim look. And gently release. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. So you're taking your low back that has a space and you're closing that off. There, we can see that a little bit better. And gently release. And close your low back, close it, and then hold it. So keep your low back pressed into the floor here. And then just feel how strong that is, this whole piece. And then keeping your low back pressed to the floor, we do just a couple of movements with our legs. So start with picking your right leg up off of the floor, right? Just a bent right leg. I'm pointing my toes, but you don't have to. And gently lower this right foot back down. Still your low back pressed to the floor, so there's no change there. And then lift your left leg up off of the floor, keeping your low back pressed. Lower your left leg back down to the floor. You'll notice just by going very slowly, your low back is still pressed to the floor. Lift your right leg up, go lift. You'll notice that this feels almost like a ab exercise, right? And gently lower it back down. And that's very much what it is. Lift your left leg up, go lift, right? So creating this very stable situation and gently lower your left leg down. And then really keep it all together, your low back pressed to the floor, relax your shoulders best you can, and then pick both legs up off of the floor. Still legs are bent. This feels easier to keep your low back pressed to the floor, and then gently as you lower your legs, you want to maintain that contact, your low back pressed into the floor. And then we'll do that again. So lift your both legs up off of the floor, keeping your low back pressed to the floor, and gently lower your feet back down. Still your low back pressed to the floor. It's so slow and makes you really work here. Couple more. Lift both legs up off the floor. Keep your low back pressed. And gently lower these legs back down to the floor, relaxing shoulders just the same. One more time. Lift your both legs up. And then this time, let's push these legs together and press your knees down toward your chest. Now, without lifting your tail up, start to bring your arms over your legs. Maybe you grab interlaced fingers to start. All right, so really press your spine flat against the floor. So not looking for a ball, we're looking for some length in our spine, like you're unraveling your mat against the floor. And then for most of us, this ought to feel pretty, accessible just with this interlaced fingers. If you can afford to do so, we start to grab opposite wrists. So still with no change in your back, still keeping it nice and long, top of head through tail. And as with all of these things, we're giving our bodies some time to respond. Couple of breaths. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears and check your chin is not super lifted up off of your chest. In fact, it's like a gentle tuck. If this still feels okay, start to inch your hands maybe toward your forearms, still your low back pressed. You're creating a tighter compression now for your hip joints, still your low back pressed to the floor. Now, if this still feels good, start to walk your hands toward your opposite elbows. Now, this is kind of a larger reach. So if you feel like your tail starts to lift up off of the floor, back out of it a little bit. Maybe you don't go for the hard part of your elbows. Maybe you're somewhere in between your forearms, your wrists. Maybe you're at your wrists, right? Whatever it is perfect.
spend a couple moments here. Go through that quick little detailed check. Slight tuck of your chin, relaxed shoulders away from ears, and drop your tail nice and heavy. Close down your eyes and let your spine again decompress. Here in your breath, your inhales might feel a little bit more difficult as you try to expand your rib cage. You are met with your thighs. Try to think of that expansion now, going toward your back ribs instead. So you still create big space on your inhales. On your exhale, see if you can drop your tail heavier, your shoulders down heavier. Empty out your lung. Full deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. Now, keeping your tail on the floor, start to gently let go of your elbows, your forearms, whatever it is, and let your knees gently open out. So now our knees are kind of more toward our armpit area, and I'm still grabbing on with one arm to one leg, the other arm to the other leg. Still your tail is flat against the floor. Still you're creating compression. So it's not quite a happy baby as your knees are really pulled in tight, but still let your head drop. This almost feels more like a supine malasana, right? With your knees on either side, you're letting them drop, but still a pretty deep bend in your legs. And we'll hang out here. This is that tall spine we want to achieve when we are in malasana, actually. Top of head through tail. Nice long spine, not rounding over, not overly arching. Take one more breath here in through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. Good. So, we'll keep our legs exactly the same, but switch up our arms. Right now we're on the outsides of our legs, so toward our shin area. We're going to wrap our arms sort of underneath our legs such that we're closer to our thighs. So I'm going to undo my right arm, right leg, and then place my forearm underneath my thigh area. Good hook. And then I'll do it with my left side as well. So just a switch of your arms, and now your palms have access to your inner thighs, maybe to help push out to the right, to the left. For once, I'm not even mentioning our feet. Keep them totally relaxed is perfect. Do again, check in with your tail, check in with your neck. You might even roll your head right and left, keeping your chin nicely tucked to feel the base of your neck a little bit longer. Closed throat. Now, as we spend a little bit more time here, this is basically a nice little hip opener. If you can afford to do it, start to extend your right leg out to the right. And then maybe you need to let loose your right arm grip a little bit. Your right hand starts to slide closer to your inner thigh. Maybe your right arm hits the floor. Your elbow hits the floor. And then gently bend your right leg again. And let's do the same thing with our left. So start to extend your left leg. And I'm going to let my left elbow drop to the floor. Still supporting my leg. But now my arm also has support. And then bend your left leg again. All right. Let's do both legs. Extend. Now, I haven't mentioned sort of any flex or point of your foot, but if you can afford to do so, I'm going to close my closet a little bit more. Flex your feet and feel that difference as you send your heels up and face your toes down. Your arms can support you. Maybe they feel supported in this place. If they don't really feel like they're supporting your legs at the moment, you might change it such that your hands are on the outsides, closer to your calves, right? This might offer you better leverage. Maybe your V-shaped straddle is up a little bit closer, and then in which case you support yourself more toward the outsides of your thighs. Play around with what works better in terms of your supporting hands and stay right there. If this still feels okay to you, right, and you are okay with taking your hands to the insides of your legs and giving yourself a nudge downward, totally do that for yourself as well. And you might kind of shift, right? You go from hands on the inside to the point where you're like, oh, I don't like this anymore. And then you switch it to the outsides for a little bit more support. But wherever you are, we will hang out for just a bit longer. Again, you can play around with the flex. If you no longer like the flex, relax your feet. It's no big deal. If you actually don't even like this straddle, take it into your happy baby. But just take note, your low back's still pressed to the floor. So we're not interested in the whole like grabbing of the arches of our feet, which potentially lifts our tail up. Keep it all heavy. And with your legs bent, you can similarly support yourself with your hands on the outsides of your legs. You can similarly give yourself a nudge from the insides of your legs, your inner thighs, for a more active situation. So completely up to you what works better for you. We'll be here for a bit longer. So maybe you close down your eyes and to take attention away from any maybe tension, tightness in your inner thighs or your hips. Just check in again with your face. Relax. Relax your neck, relax your shoulders even down away from your ears. And like with any of our stretches that we hold a little bit longer, make use of your exhales to really soften, to allow. And just enjoy being in this stretch. Taking time to find some comfort within potential discomfort. It's only one breath longer here. Full deep inhale. And long, slow exhale. If your legs are straight, let's gently go ahead and bend them. And if your hands are on the inside of your legs, take your hands to the outsides of your legs and gently close your knees back together with the help of your hands. As you lower your feet back down, check in with your low back. Still, you keep it pressed down toward the floor. And see if you might be able to hover your feet just like an inch up off of the floor for our last bit of work. For 4, for 3, feet are hovering. For 2, relax your shoulders. For 1, before you let your feet touch the floor, open them and then drop your feet down so your knees are knocked, your feet are out, maybe about mat width apart. It doesn't need to be super precise, just wherever they land a little bit farther is perfect. So this is our little broken bridge, and hopefully, at least for me, this feels pretty nice on my back, just to rest here. We'll take a couple breaths, full deep in through your nose. And long, slow out. Again, full deep in through your nose. Exhale out. Now keeping your right leg as is. Support yourself there. Pick up your left foot and take your left foot to the outside of your right leg to continue to drop your legs down over to your left-hand side. So your knees fall left. Your spine naturally creates that twist. With your left foot heavy over your right leg, you've been given an extra nudge in that direction. Take a couple breaths here. See if on your exhales, again, you can soften into this. In through your nose. Exhale out. Good. Gently unwind. So return your knees back up and we'll switch. So unhook your left foot, drop your left foot down, pick your right foot up, and slowly allow your knees to fall over to your right. And transition slowly, smoothly, mindfully, so that any places that feel a little bit tweaky in your low back has the opportunity then to move into it in a way that feels more comfortable. And so that you never fall into a place of pain in your transitions. Allow the heaviness of your right foot on the outside of your left thigh to give yourself a gentle nudge in that direction. One more breath. In through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. And then gently, let's return our knees back into that broken bridge situation. So unhook this right foot, lower your right foot, and knock your knees together with your feet firmly planted into the floor. Take a couple breaths. In through your nose. Exhale out. One more time, in through your nose. Exhale out. Good. From here, start to walk your feet in a little bit closer and then pick up both feet up off of the floor. From here, I'll give you the option. You press your feet up toward the ceiling, so it's like legs up the wall. And this feels good just to, again, alleviate any pressure or tension in your low back. If it feels comfortable to you today, remember, always ask yourself that question and be honest with the answer. You might want to move into shoulder stand if it suits you, right? So if it suits you, you start to walk your elbows and your arms, your hands closer to your center line. And as you give yourself just a very, very gentle lift of your hips, you might place your hands underneath and then start to send your feet up toward the ceiling. I like to give myself a really good support base before I do that. So my feet are right above my hips. And this also, with the support of your hands, might feel really nice to just decompress your low back. Still, if this feels good and it makes sense for your body, allow your legs to start to fall over your head. Right? So your hips really haven't moved much. You're just allowing your legs to come over your head. And maybe legs straight doesn't feel particularly good because hamstrings. You just gently bend your legs and let your knees fall to the sides of your ears. Maybe that feels comfortable. Remember, anywhere along the way, it does not have to be in this terminal place. And then to gently reverse all of this, I'm going to start to straighten out my legs again. Carefully draw them back up toward the ceiling. And this is only because it feels nice to me, right? You do not have to move in this particular fashion. And then slowly using the support of your hands, lower yourself down, right? So I'm going to start to ease my hands closer to my bottom and gently support myself as I make my way back down to the floor. Oh, that feels so good. All right, bend up your legs, grab the backs of your thighs for just a couple of quick rocks of your low back with the intention of massaging your spine. And then when you're ready to sit yourself up, find yourself in a kneeling position here. All right, hands back on your lap. Take a moment to close down your eyes. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Empty out your lungs. Take a full deep inhale, lengthen. Exhale it out. Again, full deep inhale. Exhale, tuck your chin in toward your chest to maintain the length in your spine. Next, inhale, roll your head over your left shoulder. Gently let your head roll back. Head over your right shoulder. Chin down toward your chest. And on your next inhale, head over your right shoulder. Remember, allow yourself to roll your head back. Feels good. Head over your left shoulder. Chin to your chest. Inhale, lift your chin up, neutral. Exhale it out. One more time, full deep inhale. Exhale it out. Good. Your next inhale, open your eyes. So good. Thank you for joining me tonight. Not to worry, by the way, with these neck rolls, these head circles, if it feels sometimes a little bit like, not jolty, but almost like not very, very smooth. I experienced that myself. And I think sometimes it's just, kind of finding that looseness in our neck takes a little bit of time, but also we do so much during our day. I think that builds up that tension. So sometimes when we just move into that circle kind of like once or twice or three times, it doesn't feel like it's enough to counteract all of those different movements that we have been doing to tighten things up. So not to worry. I think practice and patience and every single time approaching it with kind of the willingness and openness to try it, it definitely helps little bit by little bit. So, oh my gosh, Molly, I'm so sorry to hear about the back pain. It really is like so bad. And I feel like you and I are both not people who would randomly like mention, oh, my back hurts, right? But I legitimately have been feeling it. I'm like, it's the old age or is it the change in temperature, seasons, whatever it is. So I'm glad that worked out for you too. I've definitely been trying to explore more ways to alleviate that back pain because all of my like usual tricks haven't seemed to be as helpful as they they did previously. So maybe this is also just our bodies catching up with us as well. So always be good to ourselves. That is the moral of the story. Anyway, go enjoy this still sunny evening. And I will see you either next week or tomorrow or whatever it is. Have a great rest of your evening. Good to see you, Molly. All right, bye.